Hello dears, here we are with the next lecture of our UGC NET English course. In the previous class we discussed Shakespeare's history play King John. Today we are with John Milton's poem On His Blindness. On His Blindness, published in 1655. John Milton, 1608 to 1674. So first of all, it is an autobiographical sonnet. It is a sonnet, that means a poem of 14 lines. And Thomas Newton gave the title On His Blindness. So when the poem was written, Milton had not given title to his poem. So the poem was known by the first line of the poem. That means, when I consider how my life is spent. So after Thomas Newton gave the title On His Blindness, the poem is known by that title. But another title is the first line of the poem, that is, when I consider how my life is spent. And the sonnet was first published in Milton's 1673 collection of poems in his autograph notebook known as the Trinity Manuscript. First published in 1673, written in 1655. The poem explains the philosophy of life used by Milton. It teaches us of a man who has committed himself to God entirely. So the poem is very much autobiographical. It shows Milton's philosophy of life. The sonnet is in the Petrarchan form with the rhyme scheme ABBA, ABBA, CDE, CDE. So remember, the poem is written in Petrarchan style of sonnets. We know that there are two main styles in sonnet writing, English sonnets and traditional sonnet. That means Petrarchan style. So Milton follows Petrarchan style of sonnet. The poem begins with lines. When I consider how my life is spent, or half my days in this dark world and wide, and that one talent which is death to hide. So the poem begins with lines. When I consider how my life is spent, or half my days in this dark world and wide, and that one talent which is death to hide. So here in this poem you have to note the word talent. So see the word talent, which here means talent, his talent. That means his artistic skill, his writing skill. It means on the one hand, and on the other hand, the word means talent means money. So a Bible story also is mentioned here. So remember the word talent, that is very, very important. It refers both the money, a story from the Bible, and then talent, that means Milton's talent as an artist, as a writer. And the poem ends with the words, his state is kingly, thousand at his bearing speed, and post over land and ocean without rest. They also serve who only stand and wait. His state is kingly, thousand as at his bearing speed, and a post over land and ocean without rest. They also serve who only stand and wait. So this is Milton's philosophy of life. That means, who only stand and wait, they also serve God in their own way. So to be patient in life, that is the ultimate message Milton gives through the sonnet. We should be patient. we should work hard and patiently wait to hear, wait to get the result from God. And the meter of the poem is iambic pentameter. That means an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. As we see in the line, you see, doth God exact day labor like denied? So unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed. It will be like a wave. Now unstressed, stressed. So like that. Now the themes in the poem. The need to be patient in life. That is the most important theme. Then limitation. Limitation of human beings. Duty and submission. Light and darkness. Inner conflict. So the themes include the need to be patient in life, limitation, duty and submission, light and darkness, inner conflict. In the poem, we can see different types of movements. First, there is regret, then doubt, then questions, and then complete resignation. A complete understanding or a complete trust expressed at the power of God. So first there is regret, then doubt, and then questions, then complete resignation. Now let's analyze the summary of the work. Summary of the poem. The poem is about the poet himself. He became blind at an early age, which he calls as half of his life. So the poet mounts the blindness that came to his life so early. So Milton lost his eyesight when he was about 45 years of old. So when he was 45, Milton completely lost his eyesight. So he asked God why God has done this to him. So he tries to come up with a solution, or what we can say, come up to an answer. Due to blindness, the whole world is dark and gloomy. The gift of being a creative writer and a poet, which has been accorded to him by the God, is now useless for him. So God has given him the gift to write, but without eyesight, he now really struggles to write because he can't see the world. He can't reflect on the beautiful nature. So he asks, what is this? Why it has happened? So he feels that his gift is now useless. Though the gift or skill given to him by the God would remain with him till death, but he will not be able to use it. So he doubts his ability to write because he has no eyesight. Then how he is going to compose? He asks himself, and he raises the question at God. As God has taken away his eyesight, he has become more submissive and wants to serve God with his poetic power. So he feels that during his power, when he was possessing the power of eyesight, he didn't give much attention to God. So he feels that this is time to give his attention to God and write poems praising God. He was greatly inclined to write poetry in praise of God and present to him a true account of his writings. He wants to do this so that God may not snub him after his death. So he feels that now he has to concentrate more in writing about God and God's power. He mildly wants to ask God that how can be required to do work equal to any normal person in spite of his total blindness. So he asks God if God really demands equal amount of work from a blind person that he demands from a person who has eyesight. In the answer to this heartfelt feeling of the poet, his conscience comes to his rescue to tell that he must keep patience as God does not want anything from man. So remember here, the answer is given by patience. So patience, his patience is coming as a person to answer him. So patience is personified here. So patience gives him answer that God never needs any of man's talents, anything, nothing God really needs, not even praise poems. So answer is given by the personified patience. God's kingdom is very rich and splendid. Thousands of angels are every time ready to act on God's command. They carry out God's wishes on land and sea without rest. So God has so many angels to work for God. So God never needs man's work or his praise or his lavish poems. The mortals on earth cannot serve God at this speed, so they must wait in silence for his mercy. So the only thing man can do is wait patiently to be blessed by God. Milton says that those who are not able to serve God should simply stand in service of God and wait for the chance to receive mercy of God. So when the poem comes to its conclusion, he gets an answer from patience, the personified patience. Patience tells him that God never needs anything from man. So he finally submits to that understanding that God really needs man to be patient, patiently wait and see what God has in plan for man. So he decides to wait while doing his hard work. So that's all the poem, John Milton's on his blindness. In the next class, we will discuss the biography of the Indian English poet Nizam Ezekiel.